Welcome back to The Grind for a video on the new gold Primark tier that is coming to Atlas. Now, this has been a discussion for a long period of time with lots of, different opinions and aspects to this. One, because people hadn't maxed out Primarks for such a long time. When the event for Primark Level Up was around, they, didn't really have much they could do because they were all at max tier. But also, the Primarks before this tier came out were already so strong, and players who'd been around for a long time way overpowered players who were just starting. So we're going to take a look at this post and then discuss this a little bit more. So why are we adding a new tier? Well, they're trying to make activity in Atlas more rewarding, and so people that have the maxed out Primarks, they've been accumulating glory and not really been able to put them towards the Primark leveling anymore. So now this is going to reward them for their activity and gaining glory so they can now level up these Primarks and have another advantage or another edge on other players who might not be quite as active as far as going out and hunting glory. And so the more active players now will have more advantage until once again all the Primarks are maxed out. So these are the new stats for the gold Primark. At level 1, the attack stats and defense and speed stats you'll see there, and then at level 30 when they're maxed out you'll see the stats there as well. So some nice gains to be had from those, and you can compare that with the lower tiers in the game, but we're going to continue moving on to discussing this post. So what is the release schedule? Well, in about August 9th, which is tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this video, the Gold 1 Primarchs will be out, and then they'll continue to assess how the balance is with this, and then they'll be releasing Gold 2 Primarchs later on once they've determined the impact that the Gold 1 Primarchs have had. And that's so that they can more effectively judge what stats they want to give Gold 2 Primarchs. So Gold 2 Primarchs will appear as having a level 999 requirement in the game until they decide that they're ready to release it. So nobody will be able to have them yet. What constraints will the Gold tier Primarchs have? Well, the new Primarchs will only be summonable if a team owns a castle. This is a very interesting bit of information because one of the things that was quite annoying was that players on teams that had no castles, they didn't have to worry about being attacked. They could sit in a safe zone and they could just go and snipe other players' castles and not have to worry about the repercussions. And they had equal Primarchs, equal strengths. The castles had a little bit of bonuses, but if you go in with a sieger, then that really isn't going to matter. So now the defending teams that have castles and are working hard to, protect their castles and not lose troops, they're going to have significantly stronger Primarchs, meaning that those who are attacking them, if they're using lower tier Primarchs, are not going to get as good of a ratio. They are going to lose more troops and kill less troops in the process. And so this is actually going to be a very helpful little bit for those who have castles, especially access castles that frequently get attacked. Now, those who are on pirate teams might be upset because they want access to, the new top of the line. But I kind of agree with this change. Actually, I strongly agree with this because if you aren't taking Atlas seriously enough to earn and hold and defend castles, you shouldn't necessarily be on an equal playing field to those who are actively daily defending attacks and having to replenish those troops. And this should be an incentive to teams to get a castle, to earn a castle, to hold a castle, to not be on a pirate team, because then if you have that castle, you have the advantage of a higher Primarch tier. So I think it is a good addition for many reasons, and I think it's quite of a fair addition too, because like I said, being a pirate team, there's much less stress, much less anxiety, much less time spent into defending castles. So you really shouldn't have that same advantage or be on the same playing field as those who are in that other situation. So if you do have castles, what happens if you lose it? You'll just have them unsummoned and you won't be able to summon them. And then are there any changes to lower Primarch tiers? Yes, the Bronze and Silver 1 Primarchs will have their costs decreased. So you won't have to pay as much to train or research them, and this will help players catch up a little bit more quickly, which is nice for those who are just starting or still have a lot to ground to cover, but maybe a little bit frustrating for those who maybe just finished doing all of their Primark tiers. But I'm excited to see how this turns out, hear from some players what they think of it once they've got them, if it's really expensive to level them up, if it costs a lot of glory, if they feel like there is enough of an advantage. And most likely, I think the players who are really heavy into Atlas, doing conquering castles and maybe defending castles a lot, those are the ones that it's really going to matter more for. I think the more casual Atlas players aren't going to depend on the gold tier Primarchs quite so much, but once they've been around for a longer time and more players start to have them, then it might be more of a necessity, because you're going to be attacking more players that are using these gold tier Primarchs. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you're looking forward to this change, if you think things should have been done a little bit differently. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Good luck, and I hope to see you in the next video.